All right, welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Our GMC tweet of the night is from the PGA Tour going low. That is Scotty Scheffler. But I want to continue the conversation about this expansion, Colin, because Florida State, Clemson, and North Carolina were the three schools that voted against it. NC State is the school that flipped because there was 4 schools that were voting against it. Why in the world would Florida State, Clemson, it's about money, right? But I thought that I read that SMU's not going to take any money. Stanford and Cal are going to take a percentage of what the other schools get.
Yeah, those schools are just doing that to prove a point. You know, generally the loudest schools and the squeakiest wheels don't really do anything. They just yell and scream. If Florida State, if North Carolina, if Clemson had a place to go, they would have gone 3 or 4 years ago. They don't have a place to go, seemingly is what's happening here, Rich. And they've been yelling and screaming and threatening to go. Well, where was their landing spot this whole time? They weren't going to go to the SEC. They weren't going to go to the Big 12. The old Big East or something like that isn't viable to, you know, have a school like Connecticut for football or form something such as that. So they just did it for pomp and circumstances and a show of force, I think, to just show that they were against it. But they knew it was going to pass. They knew it was going to get through.
Yeah, I do agree with you. I think the ACC waited a little bit longer. Why do you think that they don't want Oregon State or Washington State? Why weren't they in the mix and just had 2 more teams?
Richard, have you ever been to Pullman, Washington?
No, I haven't. But I mean,
don't go.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. If Washington State ever played Penn State in a football game, the team that was the away team would have to leave on Tuesday. I mean, those 2 places are in the middle of nowhere. Like Pullman, Washington, and I'm guessing that's part of the reason why. I mean, it's honestly, it's in the middle of nowhere. And you're talking travel, that's gigantic travel. I got a bone to pick with you, by the way, Walsh.
Oh, you do?
You keep calling I do. You keep calling it Wofford. You said it like 3 times.
I did.
Wofford.
It's Wofford. Wofford. Yeah.
Right. What? Do you know where it's located, Rich?
Yeah, I have no idea. I really don't. And I'm going to be honest here. I have no idea where Wofford is. Yeah, I can't even get the name right.
Can you name the state? Can you name the state where it is,
No, I
Rich?
can't. I can't do that. I don't know where Wofford is.
I'm going to give you one guess. One guess. Where is it? What state do you think Wofford's in?
Wofford sounds like it would be in, I don't know, like Ohio, right? Is that wrong? I know it's probably not right.
Spartanburg, South Carolina.
Okay,
the
South
home of
Carolina.
The Marshall Tucker Band. Yes, it's a wonderful
Why are you
place.
a big fan of Wofford?
I'm not. Well, I'm certainly not Wofford, but I'm not a big fan.
Pitt's a huge favorite tomorrow against Wofford or Wofford, whatever the name of the school is. You know, I mean, the other thing is I don't like when schools play these kind of teams. Come on, just play good. I know Pitt needs a couple wins here, but I want to see good games. This is why I want to see Pitt Penn State. I know you talked about it on The Fan this week. I heard you guys, all the shows over there, and I want it to happen. I don't know how we can get it to happen. I think the ball is in Penn State's court, but Pitt and Penn State need to play.
I agree with you that they do need to play. I've started to treat this, like Steelers and Cowboys. It's a rivalry that old-timers talk about, the people stuck in the past talk about. For a variety of reasons, it's never going to come back, and I've just kind of moved on from it. I do wish they'd play. Penn State is taking a calculated risk, not a risk, but they're making a calculated choice to not play them because it's their best path to get to the playoffs. Penn State's not afraid to play Pitt. They're afraid to lose to them, and they don't want to play them because they've got to play Ohio State, they've got to play Michigan, and they've got to play Michigan State. And so they'd rather fill their stadium, they'd rather knock somebody around and do that. It doesn't really make a lot of sense for Penn State to play a school like Pitt and risk losing. So I understand it. I wish they would play. But for me, it's like, you know what, I'm 46. I'll be 47 in December. I don't know if I'll ever see it again in my lifetime. I don't.
I hope we do, but maybe you will see it. I mean, if you talked about the landscape of college football is going to change here in 5 years again, maybe things get blown up and schools realize, let's regionalize this.
The only way I do think we see it on a regular basis is if they're in the same conference. You know, I mean, that's it. I don't think we'll see a home and home. I don't think we'll see even like 3 games, a home, and a neutral site game in Philadelphia or somewhere. It's just not looking good. It doesn't feel like Penn State's going to budge. And I'll be frank, I don't know why they should. And from Pitt's side, I think right now the tack to take from Pitt is kind of what Dana Holgorsen said about Houston and Texas. Forget about them. Who cares? Everybody at Pitt now should be saying, they should take the offensive and say, instead of saying, man, I wish we'd play, it's up to them. People at Pitt should say, forget them. We don't want them. That should be where they go moving forward now.
Maybe sign up West Virginia for the next 30 years.
You know what? You bring up a really good point. And as a Pitt alum, you can speak to this. Anybody who's probably 38 or so and younger, they view West Virginia as a much bigger rival than Penn State is a bigger rival anyway, Rich, I would think.
Yeah. I mean, but for me and you, I mean, Penn State, I feel like, is still the bigger rival. You know, I wasn't at school when West Virginia was the rival. So, I kind of get what people say. I totally get that. So, but they need someone. You know, West Virginia's kind of like Pitt in this rivalry. You know, Pitt thinks they're above West Virginia, and Penn State thinks they're above Pitt. But Penn State does not have a real rival, right? I mean, Ohio State and Michigan are rivals, but Penn State views Ohio State as a rival. I mean, they have no true rival.
Right, but I do think that and I'm not saying they're right about this, but I think they view it as the gauntlet of the Big Ten, and especially the conference or the side of the Big Ten that they're on is so difficult that's what their rival is. Maybe Pitt will play Wofford for 40 years, Rich.
All right, we got to take a break. Back in a couple minutes.